Welcome to the Author Show. I'm Linda Thompson, and today we're talking to Karen Gridley, who has written Embrace Your Rights, a powerful roadmap of 50 self-empowering rights to create joy, freedom, and purpose in your life. Sounds like a very fascinating subject, and welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here today, Linda.
Well, what brought about Embrace Your Rights? I see that Jan Canfield has said there is a lot of wisdom packed into these few pages. So what was your idea behind it?
I'm a recovering excuse maker. And let me explain so people understand what that is. I spent much of my life making excuses, blaming, complaining. I had a lot of success in that area, but that was the only area I had success in. My life really wasn't working. It wasn't what I desired. Finally, I realized, you know what? If my life's not working, it's up to me to make the life I wanted. So I started on a path of self-empowerment and improving myself. And many years ago, I wrote these rights to help myself recognize that I've got to take the responsibility to live the life that I desire. And about a year or so ago, I was sitting in my office, and after a meditation, I was prompted to put them in a format that everyone could use, because as I've traveled the country as a professional speaker and author, I've encountered so many people who aren't embracing their rights. We kind of get stuck in that entitlement, you know?
What did you go through to get to this point?
Some keys are to have an essential support system. Persistence is absolutely necessary. And continually immersing yourself in positive, empowering works of the authors, workshops, listening to material. We have to continually keep feeding our mind with positive. Think of it this way, Linda. In our garden, in our lawns, of course here in Arizona we don't have a lot of those, but a lot of people can relate to that. And no one that I know of plants weeds in their gardens or their lawn, and yet they appear, do they not?
Right.
Not only do they appear, they tend to flourish without any help. Well, that's the way our mind works. It keeps putting out these weeds and these negatives unless we keep tending to it, just like a garden or to a lawn.
I love that analogy. Then I had never heard it put quite that way before, but it certainly makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So you mentioned 3 keys. What are the 3 keys?
3 keys to embrace your rights and help you stay on track are lifelong learning. As I mentioned, we've got to immerse ourselves in nonfiction work. And in our society, we are so blessed because there's tons of material out there to do that. Books, workshops, seminars, even book signings. I'm sure you know you can learn a lot from that, listening to audio programs. And the idea to keep yourself in that positive light. Number 2 is you got to surround yourself with like-minded people. And there's enough people out there, in fact there's plenty of people out there who want to tell you how you'll be sabotaged and why are you bothering to do this. I mean, when I moved on from my science degree, people said, why are you throwing your degree away? I haven't thrown it away. I still have it. I've just chosen another path. So surround yourself with like-minded people. And one of the keys with that I found is getting a mentor or a coach. Someone who's walked the path ahead of you. See, success leaves clues. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to be someone else. But if we want to be successful, we got to create the habits that successful people have.
Is it a difficult thing to, I mean, we're talking about a major lifestyle change.
Absolutely.
So how long is the process, or that's not fair to ask, how long was your process?
Well, it's really tough to quantitate because many years ago I started just dabbling a little. And you know, you dabble a little and you get little results.
Right.
You immerse yourself more, you get bigger results faster. Okay. So it's totally independent as far as how much people want to immerse themselves in it. One of the keys that I found was to get an accountability partner. Accountability partner is someone that you check in with on a daily basis, maybe weekly basis, and you make certain commitments. Now those commitments have got to be in alignment with the goals that you're claiming to want. Right. And think of it this way, New Year's resolutions, people make them all the time and don't stick with them, true? January 1st, oh, this is going to be the year I exercise, I'm going to lose weight. And maybe we make it to January 2nd and then we say, no one will know. Yeah. because we haven't been accountable to anyone else. See, we've let ourselves off the hook. So having an accountability partner keeps us on track.
There's 78 million baby boomers out there, and a good 50% of them are the typical boomer with commitment issues. So I can see where this is going to be a major hurdle for some of us, me included, but it's something that I definitely need to consider. You talk a little bit about personal transformation, and this is still part of it. So are you still in this process, or it looks to me like it's a lifelong process.
Absolutely.
That never comes to an end. You're always growing in some way.
And that's very well put, Linda. It is a lifelong process, and that's why a lot of people get frustrated and they want to be done. See, in our society, we're so used to accomplishing, like we go to school and we complete elementary school, then we go to middle school and we complete that, and we go to high school and we complete that, and we graduate from college. So we're always looking to graduate. But think about it, graduation from life is death.
Right.
So we want to be committed to a lifelong process, and it's a decision that we need to make as an individual. So I'm committed, and that's why I call myself the recovering, not the recovered excuse maker. Because if I think I'm recovered, I stop learning and growing.
All right. This took a long time to figure out, didn't it?
Yes.
And it's not something that we want to wait until our waning years to discover, right?
That's right.
So the books, I would say the book's target audience would be the younger the better, and yet everybody could benefit from it. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Everyone can benefit, but here's the key. They have to want it. See, I always tell people in my presentations, my workshops that I conduct, these workshops aren't for everyone who need them, but everyone who wants them. And that's the same with these rights. They're for everyone who wants, truly wants to create joy, freedom, and purpose in their life.
Well, I really like the layout of this because it's very short, it's to the point, it's not a long, laborious list of you shoulds, you musts, and all of this kind of thing, which, quite frankly, I avoid like the plague. But this I could do because it looks to me like you read one a day and you adapt it to your life, and you keep that in the back of your head when you go on to the next one. Is that the way you thought of it when you put it together?
Absolutely. And the reason I left it kind of flexible, because some people will read it from write 1 to write 2 to write 3, and that's okay. Some people like the format that they just pick up and see what right they fall on that day, and that's the one they work with. Let me share one of the rights with you. Right 39 is on page 105 in the book. It says, I have the right to be happy and serene, even if others around me aren't or choose not to be.
Wow.
Now that's a mouthful, and it's one thing to say it or even read it, but to apply it is a whole nother level. And that's why Embrace Your Rights was such a powerful title for me, because we've got to embrace the responsibility to apply this. For example, have you ever been in a good mood until you're around somebody who wasn't? And when we choose to surrender our mood to someone else, we surrender embracing our rights. If we surrender embracing our rights, we're no longer living a life on purpose. We're no longer creating a life of joy, freedom, and purpose.
I could talk about this all day, but our time's about up. Where can we find your book?
You can get my book. It's available on my website at www.karengridley.com, and it's also available at amazon.com.
Okay, and can we find out more about Karen Gridley on the website?
Absolutely.
Well, Karen, it has been a pleasure, and I am Linda Thompson. Thank you for joining us today, and remember that a book can change a life one word at a time.